I got some books. So I ended up getting 6 books, which I feel like is kind of a lot for just a quick trip to Barnes& and Noble. I'm really excited about these books because these are all books that I've been wanting to pick up for quite a while. I've heard so many good things about them. I would say all of these are pretty popular books, but they're books that I just haven't read. So the first book I got Barnes today was Margo's Got Money Troubles by Ruthie Thorpe. Yeah, Ruthie Thorpe. This book has just been immensely popular. I think it was like book of the year on a few lists. And I know it was on like the New York Times bestseller list for many, many weeks. It might still be on the New York Times bestseller list, but I just have heard so many, many good things about this. This is a literary fiction, I believe. It seems pretty short. Yeah, it's only 294 pages. So that's pretty short. I believe this one is being turned into a movie or a TV show. Yeah, it's being turned into a TV show. Looks like Elle Fanning, Nicole Kidman, Michelle Pfeiffer, and Nick Offerman are all supposed to be in it, which sounds amazing. Like that is a star-studded cast. So I think what this book is about is that Margo is a young single mom and she's struggling. So she starts like an OnlyFans account. And I don't know if the premise would have been something that I would have immediately gravitated towards, but because I've heard such amazing feedback on this, I really wanted to pick it up. So I'm really, really looking forward to reading this one. I hope that I can get to it very soon. The next book I picked up from Barnes & Noble today was a new release. This is Water Moon by Samantha Yoto Yambao. I picked this one up purely because of the cover. It's so pretty. And I love the artwork behind it. I just think it is a very captivating cover for me. I actually have this rule where if I don't like the cover of a book, I typically will just read it on Kindle because I still want to read the book. You know, I don't want to just only read books where I like the covers, but I don't really want to own a book unless I like the cover. So I absolutely knew when I saw that this one was coming out, I knew I had to have the book. This one just came out on January 14th. So I actually haven't heard any feedback or reviews on this book yet, but I knew I wanted it based off of the synopsis. A woman inherits a pawn shop where you can sell your regrets and then embarks on a magical journey when a charming young physicist wanders into the shop in this dreamlike and enchanting fantasy novel. I just feel like that sounds so dreamy and magical, and I love magical realism. One of my favorite books is The Midnight Library. Kind of sounds not the same, obviously, that's a very different storyline, but it gives me similar vibes. So I am very excited to read this one, and once again, I just love the cover. The next book I got was Bunny by Mona Awad. This is another cover book for me. It looks kind of red on camera, but this is like a hot pink cover, and it stuck out to me so much, and I love it. It was just very shocking to me. I like the yellow spine. I like that it's pink all over, and then there's the black silhouette of the bunny. I just think it's just like such a nice looking cover. Now, this is a horror book, so I don't typically read a lot of horror books, but I have wanted to kind of get into the genre a little bit more. This one is pretty short as well. It's only 305 pages, and it came out back in 2020. So this has been out for a while. It's been pretty popular for a while. Once again, the cover has just always gotten to me, so I've always wanted to pick it up purely because I'm intrigued by it. I believe this book is about a university student, and she joins some kind of clique or maybe a sorority called the Bunnies, and I think they're called the Bunnies because they call each other Bunny. She gets caught up in the world of just trying to fit in, I think, but this is a horror book, so I think there's going to be some kind of like grotesque scenes and some weird things going on throughout it. But yeah, so very excited for this one. The next one is The Unmaking of June Farrow by Adrienne Young. When this book came out, it was immensely popular. It's only 341 pages, so another quick read. This one came out in 2023, so fairly new as well. Adrienne Young did just come out with a new release this year. I think it was on January 7th. Her new release is called A Sea of Unspoken Things. I did see it at Barnes & Noble, but I've never read Adrienne Young before, and I know that this book is immensely popular, and I just really wanted to read this one first and then decide if I wanted to read her new release. A woman risks everything to end her family's centuries-old curse, solve her mother's disappearance, and find love. in this mesmerizing novel. So it sounds like there's a lot of productivity going on in this book. There's a lot of things that are happening for the main character of this book. But I've just heard such beautiful things, and I love the cover of this one. I also love the cover of A Sea of Unspoken Things. Made me want to buy it, but I had to hold myself back because I do want to read this book first before I read her new release. Next, I got the Lost Bookshop by Evie Woods. This is historical fiction meets magical realism. I think it's about 420 something pages, and this also came out in 2023, so it's still fairly new, but I remember when it came out, there were so many people talking about it. I loved the storyline, particularly because I think it takes place in Dublin, Ireland, which is a very special place for me because one of the very first trips I ever got to go on with my family was to Ireland. I just think I love reading stories that take place in Ireland. It's just such wonderful memories for me, and so I know that I don't know if I'm going to be reliving those memories in this book, but I do like to be reminded of it. So whenever I see a book that takes place in Ireland, I jump at it. It says, for too long, Opaline, Martha, and Henry have been the side characters in their own lives. But when a vanishing bookshop casts its spell, these three unsuspecting strangers will discover that their own stories are every bit as extraordinary as the ones found in the pages of their beloved books. By unlocking the secrets of the shelves, they find themselves transported to a world of wonder where nothing is as it seems. So pretty vague, but I am excited. This has a pretty good rating on Goodreads as well. I think it's like a 4.2 on Goodreads or something. So I'm really excited to read this one. I actually hope to read it soon because it seems like it might have either like wintry or maybe fall, but I'm hoping wintry vibes. So maybe I can read that next month. We'll see. Last and certainly not least is Blue Sisters by Coco Malore. This book came out I think in September of 2024, so it's very new. First of all, I love the cover. I just always have to give a moment for the cover. I heard everything and nothing about this book all at once. I heard it was great. I heard it was a beautiful read, but I could never hear what it was about. Nobody ever, at least the videos that I watched or the reviews that I read, people just weren't saying what it was about. From what I gather, it's about family, it's about grief, it's about sisters, and it's really just supposed to be this beautiful kind of heartbreaking novel. This is literary fiction. It's 340 something pages. None of the books that I got today actually were very long, which is surprising. I guess the longest one was the Lost Bookshop. The Lost Bookshop, and that one I think was like 420 pages. But that's it. These are all the books that I got. I do want to start a TBR cart this year. That's all my goals, to kind of start a TBR cart. I want to be picking from a TBR jar because I do find myself mood reading, which means that I don't get to hit a lot of the genres that I would like to read, but then when I'm not in the mood for them, I just don't gravitate towards them. I'd like to kind of force myself to start picking those. So I'm going to stop mood reading as much, just the first half of the year, until I can get more of my physical TBR underway. So stay tuned for that video. Okay, I think that's going to be it for today's video. I hope that you've enjoyed this bookstore vlog and haul. Please leave a comment down below and let me know if you've read any of these books and if you think I should start with one in particular. And if you're new here, please be sure to subscribe to my channel so you don't miss a video from me. And that's it for today. So thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye everyone.